Ron, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks.
I wanted to have you on to catch up postseason, talk about the season. This is your first head coaching season at Belvidere North High School, and yeah. So, just what are your initial thoughts of having a couple weeks removed, or almost a month now removed from the season?
It hasn't been. I was at the freshman sophomore state tournament last
Yeah.
weekend. I've got girls wrestling tomorrow. I have been every weekend for the last 7 or 8 weeks. The entire weekend has been nothing but wrestling. It's exhausting, but it's also exhilarating. Um, on balance, I think we had a great year. I'm never satisfied. That's what makes champions. You look at where you what you accomplish, and then you go back to work and try to get better. At the beginning of the season, I told everybody that our mantra was going to be have fun, work harder, and get better. And we accomplished those goals. We had a rough year. There were a lot of things we couldn't control. We had a tremendous amount of injuries, season-ending injuries for some really good kids. And a lot of the injuries hampered our top kids. But we had a great year recruiting. We had 65 kids in the room on the first day. We started with one girl. By the first couple weeks, I had 9 girls on the wrestling team, and it was really good. They bought into the mindset and the culture that we're trying to establish, and although we didn't do what I wanted to do. I wanted us to be able to beat everybody, including Hananiga, but we just don't have the horses to beat Hananiga, which props to them, and really proud of them that they represented our conference. But that's where we want to be. That's not going to happen overnight. We made great progress, and I believe we're going to get there eventually, but I'm really happy with what happened with our team this year. We finished 12-7, about the middle of the pack in the conference meet. But from a success standpoint, we had 2 regional champions. We had 2 alternates for the state for state qualification.
Who say their names? Who are the 2 regional champs and the sectional?
Dominic
Yeah.
Girardin and Andrew Bucci both finished 4th. Like I said, I expected them to qualify for state. They didn't. They had a lot of injuries and throughout the year. Dom got his teeth knocked out at the Dvorak, kept wrestling. I'm not using that as an excuse. We didn't do as well as I had hoped initially on the varsity, but we had great success throughout the year. A lot of those kids, half of our team were freshmen and sophomore first-year wrestlers, and we recruited some seniors that were first-year wrestlers, and they all did really well. The thing about our freshmen and sophomores that filled in on the varsity, well, the first-year starters, our first-year wrestlers, is that they took some beatings wrestling varsity, but by the end of the year, they were really doing well. We had several fresh soft. We had 2 fresh soft state qualifiers. One finished 8th and was all state, our freshman heavyweight, the girl. We had several JV champions. We had some of those kids step up and place like get on the medal stand in varsity. We had tremendous success, I think. We've got a lot in the lookout for the future is pretty good. I got another 5 or 6 girls that are talking about coming out for wrestling, and they haven't signed on the dotted line and showed up, but they told me they're going out for wrestling next year. I've got about a dozen 8th graders that I've been talking with, and we've been inviting them up to the off-season wrestling, and they've been coming. I think we're going to replenish our team. The kids that we started this year, the new ones, they're excited. They're wrestling off season. We're really happy about what's going on. We think we're going in the right direction. We were able to change the mindset and establish a culture, and we think we got big things going. The Bandits program, they had 90 the first day. They had 6 state qualifiers, which beat everybody else. I mean, all the other schools in and around the area, the Belvidere Bandits scored the highest. We had 3 in the finals. We had 4 placers, 2 champions. It's just things are really looking up. I'm really happy.
That's good. And you said 65 kids on the team. That's a lot. How was the retention aspect of that? How many did you end up with at the end of the season?
We lost about 20. We ended up with 45, coming regularly at the end of the season. But I'm going to replenish that. I think we'll be back up next, in the fall.
Yeah. And, how did you manage that in the room with, I mean, 65, that's a lot of bodies in the wrestling room. Did you have to split groups?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We took the experienced kids and the varsity kids, and they would be on the mat wrestling, and the rest of the kids would be out in hallways running, in the weight room, lifting weights, doing cardio in the cardio room, and then we would flip flop. So we'd split the practice in half. And when the varsity guys said we're finished, then we took the other kids in, and the varsity guys went out and did their conditioning.
Yeah. And throughout the season, like you went to a few tournaments. What are some tournaments that you went to, and any uh, events or results that were
Well, we went to 6 tournaments.
six?
Yeah, we went to the East tournament. We went to the Harvard tournament. We went to the Dvorak tournament. We went to Prospect. We went to Geneseo, and we went to Sycamore. And at Sycamore, we sent our JV because we had a bunch of kids hurt. Most of the big tournaments, we only had a few of our top varsity guys there because they were hurt. We had a lot of ineligible kids too for a little while, so that was really difficult. We didn't place high in any of the tournaments. Dominic was our consistent producer. He signed a college scholarship to go to Wisconsin. I believe it's Oshkosh. I might be wrong on that, but he did well. He took, I think he was 6th at the Dvorak. He was 2nd. Everybody that he lost to were state place winners or champions. One was in Wisconsin. The East tournament, Dom took 2nd to the kid from Wisconsin. There was a champ. I think he took. He's like I said. I think it was 6th, or I'm pretty sure it was 6th at the Dvorak.
What was your favorite tournament to go to, and why?
I liked Sycamore because they get lots of matches, but our varsity wasn't there. We had our whole JV team wrestling in Sycamore.
Yeah.
I liked Geneseo, but it was so far away, and we had to be overnight, and we only had 4 guys wrestling. And I would have loved to have taken all of our team, but they would have got murdered because we didn't have enough varsity guys. So that's disappointing. We didn't have a full varsity lineup. We only had 4 or 5 kids that I would consider actual varsity skilled kids. So we took some beatings, but the good thing about that is while all those inexperienced kids were wrestling in those tournaments, they were learning. And I tell them all, you win or you learn. If you don't learn, then you wasted your time. We didn't waste our time because by the end of the year, they were all a whole lot better. And they were just as excited at the end of the year as they were at the beginning of the year to wrestle. And they did their results were better. Like we had a freshman, it was his first sophomore. It was the kid that qualified for a fresh soft state as a sophomore. It was his first year wrestling. At the beginning of the year, he was getting pinned and just beat up. By the end of the year, he went to state. And we got big ideas for him for next year. And I don't know. I'm rambling, but I'm trying to think of all the different tournaments and who did well. And
Yeah. Well, what do you think? You're talking a lot about learning. What is something that you learned this year as a head coach?
I have been a head coach for 5 different schools in my 30 years in wrestling. But I retired 5 years ago to coach my grandson. And what I learned is that wrestling has changed. By being a coach has changed. The amount of paperwork and accountability and all the hours that you got to put in. And when you're building a program and you have all these kids, it's a tremendous job to do. I'm exhausted, quite honestly. I'm a special ed English teacher. I sell real estate on the side. I've been doing that for 20 years, and I'm the head coach. I run an FCA group at school. I'm spinning plates like the guy in the circus, and there's just not enough hours in the day to get everything done. But I feel motivated and led to do it all because it's very fulfilling, and we're doing what we decided from the very beginning. We're trying to build warriors for life. Whether they become state champions or not, it's irrelevant. I mean, that's what we want them to do. We want to be the state champions. We want to beat Hononegah. But if we don't, it's okay because we're making good quality people. And that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah. Well, you have some help at the school, and how has it been with the assistant coaches? And you obviously have Coach Cal Ferry, um, very successful wrestler in his own right, and he's been doing a lot of work as well. So, just the how has the assistant coaches been, and how important are their roles?
We couldn't do it without him. Quite honestly, I think Cal's a much better coach than I am. He was a much better wrestler than I am. I have good confidence that I'm pretty good at both of those things, but we have a great coaching staff. There's not only Cal Ferry, Justin Barber, he coached the girls, and we had tremendous luck with them. He also helps he's the head coach of the Bandits, and Cal's the assistant there. They're both on the staff for the varsity, so they're stretched thin, but they're doing a really great job. John Bucci, he wrestled in college. He's a terrific coach, and the kids love him. He's been coaching most of them since they were little kids. Because he's from Belvidere. Zach Denny, he was a two-time All-American in college. He's really helped the varsity guys. I have Xander Martinez, who's helping out with the big guys and the girls. I don't want to say any names because I thought I had some guys coming at the beginning of the year that they weren't able to free up their schedule, but we're hiring a couple more coaches that are really going to help us out with Greco and freestyle. Shelly Frederick, she helps coach the girls, and she's also helps coaches the Bandits. So we've got continuity through the program, but the coaches are phenomenal, and all the kids love them. And I think there's nothing but good things to say and good things to expect in the future.
Got it. Um, and yeah, I mean, what else comes to mind about the season that you were, excited about? What you looking forward to with everything? Like, yeah.
Well, there's a bit of pressure, self-imposed, to do well, and you set the bar high, and when you don't get that, you run the risk of being disappointed. That's not how I feel. I'm encouraged by what we've been able to develop in just one season for the future. I really and truly believe in a couple of years they're going to be talking about Belvidere, not Hananiga. That's the goal. We want to get to where they're at. I know you guys were talking on when you were talking with the Hananiga coach. You said that Harlem took third or fourth. Well, it was fourth. We lost to Oak Park, which was the national champions that year. But my point in bringing it up is Cal was the coach of that team. I helped them out a little bit, but doing some motivational things for them. But we want to do the same thing. Hananiga did better than Harlem this year, and we want to get to that same level. And I see that in that vision being able to materialize in the next few years.
And what do you have to do to make that happen?
I think we need to be authentic. We need to be transparent, and we need to have some credibility in the walk. You can't just talk the talk. I tell kids all the time. They say, "Oh, I want to do this." I say, "Well, you got the talking part done. You can talk all day long. You can make all the goals in the world, but you got a goal. If you don't have a plan and then implement it, you're never going to be successful." So I think just getting the kids to continue to buy in and make the commitment, I think is really inspiring to me, and I think it gives us all a good goal to make and give them credibility in being successful in everything that they do in their life.
Yeah, the hard part is always to do the work. It's easy to talk about the work. It's
Right.
hard to do it. One thing that I'm looking forward to. So coming up in the off season, uh, April 26th, you guys are hosting a folk style tournament, and I've talked to Cal about helping and becoming part of the Northern Illinois folk style series. This is a series that I'm trying to put together of off-season folk style tournaments with high schools in the area. This is our first one. I'm looking forward to it. But April 26th, folk style event at Belvidere North High School. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? How many kids do you think you'll get to keep competing in the off season?
I'm really excited about it. That day is prom. Some of the kids aren't going to be there, but
okay.
there will be the kids that want to be champions are going to be there. We're going to continue to do that. We're starting. We have off-season practices, freestyle, Greco, folk style. We're inviting them all, like the bandits, the high school kids, kids from around the other area. We're going to other tournaments. Like I said, my girls are wrestling at Harvard tomorrow. We are trying to establish a good off-season program so that the summer wrestling is going to make winter champions. We're happy to do that, to get involved in anything that anybody wants to do.
That's great. Great. Well, Ron, I appreciate you coming on, chatting about the season. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how things continue to progress for you and how the team continues to grow. 65 kids, that's a lot of kids. So I think you can do something with 65 kids. If you get 65 kids out, there's a lot of potential there. So good luck with the rest of the off season, preseason. And yeah, if there's anything else, otherwise I'll let you go.
Well, I got one last thing to say. We're going to get better. We're going to keep working harder, and we're going to have fun. So you can bet that we're going to come to scrap.